If you love spending 30 minutes looking for a copy of a letter you need, you probably don't need to be more organized. If you like having to move stacks of papers and files off your desk before you can begin working, you probably don't need to be more organized. If you enjoy being late to appointments and missing opportunities because you've forgotten a meeting, you probably don't need to be more organized. And if you are thrilled with the thoughts of moving piles off of your chairs in your office in order to receive clients, you probably don't need to be more organized. So, Vicki and I are going to share some things that hopefully will help you in your journey to be more organized. Why are you not as organized as you would like to be? Lazy? Don't know where to start?
I'm not worth the effort.
Oh, not worth the effort. Okay, I happen to know differently, Allison. Yes, Susan?
It's not a top priority.
Not a priority. Okay, you haven't moved it up to the top yet. One more. Too much stuff. You got it. Okay, I want you to know that just because we're professional organizers does not mean we're perfectly organized, nor does it mean we have any judgments about you if you are not perfectly organized. In fact, we don't think being organized is about being perfect at all. We think it's about making a little bit of progress in your life every day towards having the kind of life that you want. We are going to share some ideas about how we actually do this when we work with clients. So you're going to go home with a process you can use on a part of your life, a part of your home, a part of your office, whatever it is. If you will look at your handout, at the top there, it has 2 spaces, and we're going to talk about offices today because it seems appropriate. A large space in your office and a small space that drive you crazy, okay? Something that gnaws at you. Maybe you walk into your office and you say, "Who works here?" Seriously. Okay, everybody got 2 things down there? All right, we have an acronym that we use as we go through the process. It is ACT, and you will see that on your paper. The first step, the A, is to assess the situation. Visualize yourself looking at one of those areas in your office or actually trying to work in that space and think, what is not working here? Okay, so write some things down. What's driving you crazy? As you're thinking about that, it's a great idea to think about what is working too, because you don't want to mess with the stuff that's working. Why is it this way? Who did it? How did I let it happen? How do I feel when I'm working in this space? All of these are things you want to think about. And why haven't I dealt with this sooner? I also want to know what it has cost you. Okay, so we have taken a look at where we are. We have assessed the situation. We're ready to go to step 2, which is create.
All right, the C is create a plan, and I'm going to help you learn how to do that. Now, this is the step that most of my clients miss, and the reason they have to call me. It's a very important step. You want to know what your plan is, what the end product will be before you begin. So your mind has to be organized in order for you to do that. Create a plan. Let me walk you through that just a little bit. A powerless woman has 2 major problems in her life. The first is that she doesn't know what she wants. The second big problem a powerless woman has is that she knows what she wants, but she doesn't know how to get there. And for many of our clients, they have either one or both of those. They're not sure what they want. They just know they need something, and they don't have any idea how to get there. You get to learn that today. You get to learn that. The first thing you want to do is figure out what you want. Then you need to schedule time on your calendar in order for you to organize the space that you've decided needs your help. And once you've scheduled that, you need to honor your commitment to yourself. We don't do that very well as women. Honor your commitment to yourself. once you've scheduled it. If you need help of what you want your space to look like, now this is worth every penny you paid to be here, listen up. You'll want to go to Google or Yahoo and click on images and print, and in their search box, write organized file drawer, organized desk, and you'll get pictures of what you want your space to look like. It will allow you to see what you want, and then you can come up with the details. Create a plan. Here we go.
All right, so these first two steps really are critical to know where you're beginning, which is to do the assessment, and the second step to create your plan to know where it is you'd like to be. So we have this in place. We are ready to move on to T, which is to tackle the job. We're actually going to get dirty. We're going to get it done. And we have another acronym. Sorry, but that's just sort of how professional organizers' brains work. Lots of acronyms. Helps us remember, helps us teach our clients. We are going to tackle the job. As Vicki mentioned, you will have scheduled some time. If you think it's going to take you 2 hours, plan for 4. Okay? Just go that way, and then you're not going to be disappointed when it takes you longer. You'll be happy if you finish sooner. We're going to move into our next acronym, which is the SPARK formula. I think it's on the back of your page. As we walk through this, I'd like for you to visualize one of these spaces and actually imagine yourself doing this in that spot. Okay, step 1, sort. Anyone here who does not understand that? It could be, but most of us learned it in kindergarten. Usually it was yellow things together, blue things together, red things together. Now in our office, we're going to be sorting by the type of item it is. It might be paper. Ooh, scary. Paper. It might be office equipment. It might be reference materials. It might be inspiration pieces. Anyone have lots of inspiration pieces in your workspace for your decor? So we're sorting like things together. I would suggest that you even use some banker's boxes. Put some little Post-its on the end of what you're sorting into those boxes. This way, if you get sidetracked for a minute with a phone call or if you have to come back to the project, you won't have to remember where you were. You're sorting, and it's easy because guess what? You don't really have to make a decision yet. You're not deciding what to keep. You're not deciding what to let go. You're just sorting. So that's an easy way to get started on the project. If you run into things that don't belong in your space, have a box labeled goes elsewhere so that you don't leave and have trouble getting a little distracted as you go to put it someplace else. All right, that's sort.
In our SPARK formula, the P stands for purge. Now, that's the hard part for many of you. I understand that. I like to hold on to things as well. But you need to know that this is an interesting statistic. In the professional organizer world, it is believed that there are 10% of the general population that were born to organize. It's their thing. They love it. Laura and I are one of those. You may or may not be. There is 40% of the population who can learn to organize by hearing a speech, reading a good book, watching a YouTube segment. So that's 40% of you can learn that way. Another 40% can only learn if they work side by side with someone. So know that. If you have an acquaintance that is great at organizing, invite them in. Treat them to lunch and have them help you learn how to purge. Laura and I with our clients have specific questions that we give them that will help them. But I'm going to give you a few right now. If you're working with electronic documents or paper or spaces, here are a few questions you can ask yourselves. Number 1, do I really need this? And concerning paper and electronic documents, does this need to be saved for tax or legal purposes? If the answer is yes, you keep it. If you really need it, you keep it. You don't even need to go any further. Another question that you could move to is, can I find this somewhere else? In the world of internet, information is so easy. So don't keep it. There's newer and better information out there constantly. If you don't have to have it, don't keep it. And finally, is this easily replaceable? If I get rid of it, do I know where to find it? Okay, now, in scheduling, in purging your time, I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to do that. As women, we are overachievers, there's no doubt about it. So we need to be selective. Let me teach you how to do that. You need to use 3 Ds. The first one is delete. And you'll want to delete any action or task where your time, your energy, or your money is more of an investment than the benefit you receive. It's not worth doing if your time, energy, or money is not equal to the benefit. You'll want to, the second D is delegate to someone else whom, once they are trained, can do the task nearly as well as you. Now that includes spouses, children, members of your office, people whom once trained can do it nearly as well as you. And finally, you'll want to decide on your priorities. I recommend to my clients when I work with them on efficiency and productivity that they decide on the Friday afternoon before the next week their top 3 priorities for the upcoming week. And then the afternoon before they go home, their top 3 priorities for the next day. And if you go home having accomplished your first priority and nothing else, you will feel successful. Prioritizing is a huge empowering option. That's your P for purge.
All right. Next step is the A. This is to assign a home, and that means to everything. Everything deserves a place to live. So, I would like you to think about your office, or maybe it's just a drawer that you're visualizing, and I would like you to think about what it is you need from that space. What are the activities that need to take place in your entire office? Throw some out. Phone calls, computer work, maybe meeting with clients. Anyone else? Filing. Ooh, yeah, filing. Okay. Anybody? What you're going to do is create a zone for each of those in your office space. So when you're sitting at your desk, perhaps you're on the phone with a client, you do not want to have to get up from your desk and walk across the room to find what it is you need. You want things to be zoned according to the activity they're used for. If you do have a little space in your office where you have a couple chairs and you meet with a client, have the things you need for those particular meetings right there where you can grab them. I call this beachfront property. Put the stuff you use most often in the prime real estate right where you need it. Make sure that the things that you do keep close by really are the things you need often. You don't need archival files in your prime space. Find a place away from where you're working and using those active files where they can be stored, where you can get to them easily, where you know where they are, where they're safe, but they're not taking up your prime space for actually accomplishing your job. So, step 3, assign a home.
The R in our Spark formula is round up containers and equipment. Now, this is the fun part. I know that many of you out there have done what Laura and I used to do before we were trained. We run out and buy the greatest little containers and all the stuff we need before we really know what we need. So this comes, you'll notice it's the fourth step in our 5-step formula, rounding up the stuff. I'm going to give you some tips so that you know how to go about doing that best. First of all, look around. Since we're talking about at your office here, we'll talk about that. Look at your office and in your home and then in your partner's office if you want, and decide what you already have available to you. See what you already have before you go out to purchase. The next step in rounding up containers and equipment is knowing what you need. Go out ready to know what you need to purchase. And finally, if you're putting things in your office space, if you've decided on your zones and you know what needs to go where, measure that space so that you're sure that what you get home, that shredder will actually fit in that specific space, or that printer will actually fit where you want it, or that basket will go where it needs to go. So know what you have, know what you need, and measure first as you round up containers and equipment.
Okay, and our final step. These are all important. If you do all these and you don't do the last one, you've just kind of wasted your time. The last one is K for keep it up. You've gone to a lot of work, may have been a little emotional, may have been a little hair tearing. Lots of things can happen in this process. It's fun to take pictures, actually. And I like to have a picture of what it looked like when I started. Put it inside your drawer where it reminds you not to just set it here for now. Put it in the file because you know where it goes now. It has a home. Often those files were created because you didn't know before. So I'll just set it here for now. Well, now you know. So put it away. Make sure that these zones that you have created, that these files that you have mastered, that they are all labeled so that you can easily find what you need, easily know where it goes back, and someone else could even come in and find something that was needed. Labeling is critical. And doing just 5 or 10 minutes each day before you leave your office will leave you in a state where the next morning when you come in, it's ready to work. Can you imagine walking in, being able to just sit down? You already have your priorities in place. You have your computer on, and you can go to work. What a gift you have given yourself. What true power that is to walk in and be able to do that. Now make sure in this process, as you have put things away and as you have purged and left just what you need, that as you've put things away, you've left a little bit of space. How do you feel about those file drawers that you have to wedge the files apart to get one more piece of paper in? Anyone want to guess how many pieces of paper goes in a 4-drawer file cabinet?
We know this.
Take a guess. Come on, just throw something out. 18,000 pieces of paper. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I don't need that many pieces of paper in my world. So leave some space. Make it easy to put things away. If you can zip open a little file and drop that piece of paper in, you're going to file. Most of us are lazy by nature. We want it to be easy. So make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on the people around you who to support you. And make it a place that you love to work. Just keep it up a little bit every day.
Okay, you've learned our 2 formulas, the ACT and the SPARK. You can organize your time this way. You can organize your spaces this way. You can organize your life with these formulas. Now, I understand that it's a challenge to find the right balance of working in and working on your business. That's a challenge. I understand that. Our formulas will help you with that challenge. An empowered woman knows 2 things. She knows what she wants, and she knows how to go about getting what she wants. In knowing what she wants, you, that empowered woman, may know that you need improved systems for your time, your papers, your stuff, your electronic data. You may already know that. Now you have a formula for going about and putting those things in place. That's how to get there. By assessing the situation, creating a plan that includes a written, prioritized, scheduled to-do list. I know those are kind of swear words for some of you. A written, prioritized, and scheduled to-do list. And then tackle your objective with accountability. Your success rate will increase to 85% if you will find someone that you share your organizing goal with and have them follow up with you. That's a huge increase over the 40% that you would get normally. We have on our table over here some options for you. If you haven't come by, we have one of the top-ranked organization shows on iTunes, and we can send you quarterly notices of some of our favorite shows that we've recorded. It's free. You can listen and teach yourself. We have a file cabinet organization system for you to look at and see if it might be a fit for you. And we have a system, it's called an action file, that gets rid of all your paper piles. Come and look at them, go home and duplicate them. We believe that you can succeed. We've seen it happen over and over again. Thank you for allowing us to share our passion with you today.